Alright, welcome back to Mina the Hollower. We are in the middle of the... whatever this is called, the Raven's Crypt or something. Halloween themed is what I'm trying to get at. Fine, I'll just keep getting zapped until there's nobody left. He's zapping me. When freaking well, what I should say is, if it's not the wind, it's this thunder now. It's fucking pissed me off. Like, why would the thunder specifically target me? Like, I mean, I would get it, like, if, like, it sort of randomly targeted me. But this is like Final Fantasy X levels of bullshit where every lightning bolt, maybe not every lightning bolt, but nearly every lightning bolt comes at you. Alright. Zippity zap. Why can't you just let me live? Right. That'll be all, said Piggy. Alright, we're gonna keep moving and grooving. Luckily there are enough of the stuff for the safety towers that we should be good. At least until we get to the where the spring box is. Dead. Take that, Mr. Crow. You were cool, you know, you could do whatever the fuck you want now. Now you got killed by a lightning bolt because you weren't paying attention. Yeah, on the other hand, I am paying attention, but I'll just keep losing because they suck. Do it. Go. I don't want to get struck by lightning, but I need to platform. I need to platform over here. I should have Scatterwan. I should learn you must. Turn to the dark side you should not. Through the hole. Puzzles. Puzzles so bad. Alright. And jump. No, I jumped too late. That's fine. Good. That one actually worked. I was actually surprised, to be honest with you. Perfectly. I just want to get the little gold one there. Is that so much to ask? Hooray, we did it. But if I overshot it, it wouldn't really matter because I'd be able to get right back up on the 4C. Doo-doo-doo. Wow. Cripple Crows called a murder. Till next time, try not to die. Also, trying to get struck by lightning like 15 times. Kind of embarrassing, I'm not gonna lie. Turn. Bone chunk. There, actually, Bayou. Yeah, I see what I need to do, thank you. Not doing a very good job of that part. Nice. Glad we did that. He's a monster, sir. There are no monsters, Marcy. But I'm scared, sir. Good job, Marcy. Thanks, sir. Alright. Nice. So, Mr. Brown Jug. Now for you to take a curt call. A little bit. Everything comes in pairs of shoes, especially my shoes. Said that I'm all the way back in the Bayou. Or I do not wish to be here. I wish to be back in the September, so I can finish rescuing the kids. You know, my reward. And them lily pets don't last very long, do they? Long enough for me to like land on one or two, and then just sort of scootle my way back to the entrance. There you go, that's how you do it. That's lovely. I guess it's very lovely. there's plan. Okay. I have 4,696 bones. I'm just going to level myself up to 5,200 so that I can get my next level up and I don't have to worry about going back to get my bark. So if I haven't mentioned it yet, soundtrack in this game has been excellent. Maybe not over the top like, you know, Undertale, great, but it has been excellent. Like the kind of music you really want in your game, you know. I mean, it so far it hasn't really like I said, been a standout, but you know, when I say Undertale, I'm like, the music in Undertale is like a set piece, and it is part of the plot of the story, or how you add emotion to a story. So I know I've used this as an example before, but I think that Kingdom Hearts, particularly Kingdom Hearts 1, is sort of like kind of like a mediocre game. But whatever rating you gave it, you immediately have to kick it up one number, or a half of a number, depending on what your scale is. Scarecrow looks different. Let it down? Yes. Finally off that post. Plenty to barter if you'd like. I want these first two things. One of these is a trinket, and the other one is a key. But you know, that intro song in the Kingdom Hearts franchise is such a banger that like you have to improve the score of that video game by +1. So if it was like, say, a 7 out of 10, it's now an 8 out of 10. Or if your scale is like out of 5 or out of 4, you know, you go from like a 2.5 star game to a 3-star game, or yeah, 2.5 to a 3-star game, or from a 3.5 to a 4, you know. What helps, I think another thing, and I've mentioned this before about Kingdom Hearts, one of the things I think that helps Kingdom Hearts is some of the best parts of that game are backloaded. So you sort of forget about the fact that you had to do Alice in Wonderland, and that one was bad. And what was the other one? I wasn't a big fan of Tarzan the first time through, but playing the game over again I didn't really play through it. I just was helping my brother play through part of it, was leveling him up so that he had a little bit easier time when he was visiting to get through the game. But sort of long story short on that is that, you know, I think that game is better because of the music, you know, and that they put Hollow Bastion at the end of the game. But that's beside the point. You know, when I hit that door, I did not expect a guy to actually come out. I thought it was just sort of like a haha funny moment, thinking like, well, maybe I can break down the door, and maybe that was sort of what do you call that, coincidental that happened. Maybe if you pass past that door, that happens regardless. But the fact that it looked like I knocked on the door and then the door busted down with enemies, kind of weird. Anywho. So when I talk about a game being like, this game has really great music, it does. It has great music. It doesn't have the kind of music necessarily, at least at this point so far, that you know, changes, you know, completely improves the gameplay, or I mean improves the score of this game in my mind. It's still like a, you know, like a 9 out of 10 in my mind. Which is great. I think that's great. I think 10 out of 10 should probably be reserved for games that basically rewrite the way video games are made, or do such an excellent job in either their gameplay, well, in all of the following categories: gameplay, storyline, music, that it all sort of flows together. And of course the right amount of difficulty as well. I know that's sort of a vague, you know, you have to interpret what is a good difficulty versus sort of like a too hard or too weak. But I think Minta's got a nice balance to it, where if you really understood the mechanics and I gave you a new boss that you've never seen before, you should be able to, after a little bit of seeing what the boss's moves are, like in Dark Souls, you should be able to figure it out, and you should be able to beat the boss within 1 or maybe 2 runs, you know, depending on what you're coming in at health-wise. Whereas, like, a Dark Souls is like, okay, I'm gonna fight the boss, and they're gonna, unbeknownst to me, they're gonna have 2 phases. Which you can't assume they're gonna have 2 phases. You can't assume they're not gonna have 2 phases at this point in the Dark Souls. Particularly if it's like a really cool boss, a cool looking one-on-one boss between you and, say, a rival, a quote-unquote rival character. They say that, I mean like a character that's roughly your size. It looks like you could be a player character, you know, given the right level ups and weapons. But of course they're bosses, so of course they have to have like broken ass moves, you know. Like, no, you can't wave dash. Nice. Yeah, I don't want to take damage because I don't have any more healing. So that's how you do it. Here's another mirror. So let's unlock the this section of the astral mirror for later. Because each one of the 4 mirrors that I've come across requires me to, well, I've only come across, technically I've come across 3. This is the second one I've entered. There's one in the crypt that I haven't gone back to do yet. So, and from what I can tell, looks like there's 4 doors. As you can see, this square over here to the right. 3, and then I'm missing the other half of, so there's the crypt door, like I said, that I haven't done yet. Here's a bag. That's a nice use of a key. I got an extra trinket. Hooray for me! But you can see over here, there's a blue and then looks like a red or a brown that I have to unlock. That'll complete the other things. So that blue one, that brown or red one, once we unlock, once I go back to the crypt, that's one, and then I'm sure there's an area further ahead that we haven't gotten to yet that has another mirror in it somewhere. Shield. creepy shield. Guardian casket. Nifty. This is definitely a weapon that they made the right choice of not putting at the beginning of the game. Because this would not work very well against... It's not a beginner weapon is what I'm trying to say. You know, give us swords, give us whips, give us maybe that hammer. That hammer is a little difficult to use, but I think the damage makes up for it. This is... What would you call this? Gimmick weapon? Because you have to... You're looking to wait for the enemy to attack you, and right as he or she attacks you, you press the attack button, and it hits off your shield and causes the little ghoul inside of it to jump out. So, I'm switching back to my main weapon because, yeah, we may come back to shield at some point, but not as a main weapon. It's going to be probably situational. I'm getting shocked. Like, you want to make a list of things I want to happen to my character. Getting struck by lightning multiple times is not one of them. I mean, I know it doesn't do a ton of damage. It's not like, kind of like, what? Equivalent to, or not as bad as, say, a hit from an enemy, but like pretty close there. Thank you. I appreciate when you strike the actual lightning rods instead of me. It makes me happy. Right, jump. Pumpkin jump. Jump. Pumpkin jump. I am the Jesus allegory lion. Except I'm not actually a lion. I'm just a mouse. Surprised the crow didn't want to attack me while I was waiting for the lightning to go off. Keep going! Hooray! We've already been to this far so far. Area. It's okay though, doesn't matter. It's all good. Talk to Crowman. Hi, Crowman. I would like to buy your other trinket, where I now have greater than 1,000 bones to pay you with. Alright, I still have my MacGuffin. Perfect. There's a question for everyone. Do you like your games to be like really well polished? Or do you like your games to be sort of like, you know, have sort of a rough edge around it? And the example I'll use is if you've ever played Rogue Legacy 1 versus Rogue Legacy 2. Rogue Legacy 2 is very polished. It's a very polished game. So it feels very smooth, as if everything's sort of been planned out ahead of time. And, you know, they've sort of thought through all the different, you know, builds, and, you know, they've made the game in such a way where, you know, certain characters are going to be stronger than other characters in certain ways, and weaker in others. And the first game was a lot rougher. It felt like all of your characters were essentially the same character, except they had some quirk to them that made them different. So, example would be like, occasionally you'd run into like you know, whatever you want to call it, a birth defect, birth trait that says, well, this character's HP and MP bar got flipped. So, you know, if you've been running monks all the time, and then all of a sudden you have to choose between 3 descendants, and one of them has this archmage complex where they will only, you know, their HP and MP bars are switched. So you've been pumping your stats into HP because you don't use MP all that much. And now you've got a character that's got like 170 HP and like 1,000 MP, and you're not really sure what to do about that. Or what happens when your your MP runs out? You know, that sort of special garbage stuff you have to think about occasionally. But like I said, the game feels very like the difference between playing as like a warrior and playing as a clown in that game is completely different in Rogue Legacy 2. But sometimes you would just roll, your characters would just roll these really bad statistics, and Rogue Legacy 1 would just kind of give you like the shrug its shoulders and kind of go, well, that's how the cookie crumbled, bitch. And you're like, okay, how the cookie crumbles, I get it, but like, you know, you're not allowed in here. I forbid you from coming into my underground hollow. That's my safe space, buddy. I know that's sort of like a trigger word for some people. Like, they think that all people have to be triggered to be, I don't know, liberal or conservative. But, yeah. So we're trying to get away from the mean man. Same time, we're looking for the last kid. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to get trapped. And I cannot burrow underneath rocks. So he can smash the rocks, as he just did, but I cannot burrow underneath rocks. So that's, I can go around him like this, which is fine. Alright, we're gonna escape out this way. And looks like we got a Tom Turkey left that we gotta rescue. And that would be it, I think. If I'm not mistaken. Platforming, though. Always a challenge. Always a challenge. So I am just timing these jumps just horribly for the probably just, yeah, I can do that. Of course, I don't want to do that. I don't want to fall in the pit and lose all my life because I stink at this game. Alright, I guess I'm going to just drop in a pit again. Sploosh. We'll have an extra life to live. Can Chris do it? Place your bets in the pool right now. Do you think I can make it? You know what my favorite part is? I already knew if I was gonna make it or not. That's how cool I am. Gobble, I'm sticking my neck out for this shit. Come on, we can do this, Chris. One more jump. Or not. It's fine.